guys, this is Laurel with the Dabbling Hook. How are you guys doing? I'm doing okay. I hope you guys are doing okay as well. I was just gonna say it was a sunny day, but it was a sunny morning, and I gotta remember to look at the camera. There's a breeze. I was bordering on hot, but now looks like the sun is gone, but the sky is still blue, so must be under clouds. But my cousin in New York says it's been raining buckets, so I guess it's coming this way. Anyway, yeah, how are you guys doing? I asked that already, didn't I? So hopefully this will be a quick video because I haven't been doing much yarny stuff. You probably noticed. I'm having some Merlot with kombucha and fizzy water or sparkling water. The Merlot is not the best. It's yellowtail. Ugh. But you know, you can't put it to waste. So actually the last one I had, I forgot what the name was of it, but I ended up dumping half the bottle because it was that bad. So we'll see how far this one goes. Anyway, it's not the best, so I added the fizzy water and kombucha, which is a drink that Father Minion is having. So anyway, yeah, I haven't been doing much yarny stuff, but I have been sewing. You guys have noticed. And before I go any further, I want to extend my biggest heartfelt thank you for the incredible support. I was blown away. I was almost emotional, and I'm not a very emotional person, but I shouldn't say I'm not a very emotional person. I just don't usually get very emotional, but I was blown away, and I really, really, really appreciate every last one of you who bought bags. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I'm actually enjoying it, even though, oh my god, they're such a mess. It's like my yarny mess has like taken a pause, and I've just, over here, it's just, yeah. I was finishing up some bags for my sister. I posted them on Instagram. First one was humongous, because she has, you'll probably hear Father Minion on his phone over there. She has medication that she has, and she wanted to keep it in something, and she's been asking about my bags, but whenever I gave her the dimensions, they were not big enough for her. So she sent me, I'm like, if you want something specific, send me the fabric, and she did. And so I made her a huge one, and then I tried using up as much of the fabric as possible. And it's not cotton, so it was not the easiest to work with, but she had some, looks like suit material almost, but it's definitely like polyester or something. So I use that. The pink stripe, I don't know if you can see it, but it's sparkly, so it's actually real pretty. I wish it was in cotton. So there was that. And then, excuse me one second. So she also sent this fabric, which was cotton. I don't think it's an actual African print, but it has that look to it. So I use that as the lining, and all I have are like scraps left of that. And then she also sent this satiny type fabric. It has that faux silk kind of look to it, but let me tell you, that was horrid to work with. My floor still has evidence of trying to cut it. It's just, it frayed all over the place, so I'm glad that's done. So I actually put that in the mail. Oops, my puff, don't mind the hair, it's hair. Yeah, so I put that in the mail for her. So I ended up getting the big bag out of that, and I was able to make a smaller, what we would call a project bag, a zipper pouch. I think it was like 10 by 9 size, I think. 10, yes, 10 by 9. And then I also made her one of my drawstring bags as well, so she has options. And I'll pop in pictures of those. So yeah, that was that. That's done. What else? I think I jumped the gun and I don't remember where I was, so there's no rhyme or reason to today. It's just to catch up again. Oops, sorry for that. I'm trying to see if I forgot anything. I think I showed these before, but I don't remember if I did. But I had made these baskets with the, actually I did, because I remember mentioning the elongated front post single crochet stitch. So there's that, and I also made another one. What I liked about that is the seam was very straight on these. There was no oops, right there. There was no wandering seam. And in this one I was using this, I think when I was making it I was using this. This is Pound of Love. And in this one I was piecing together scraps. So I decided, as you can see, I was piecing together scraps. So they're in there for now. So that's that. So what are we going to talk about? The intro. I was going through photos, and I like to show some of my older stuff that I've done in the past. And I ran across a picture of the Minions when they were nice. When they were not exactly mama's boys, but when they were nicer. Not teenage eye rolling and, you know, teenagehood. So that was nice, and I watched it about 5 times, so. And some of the makes that I did way back then, I am so missing amigurumi right now. I haven't done one in so long, and I need to do something. And maybe that means my Crojo's coming back, because I miss it desperately. And then what else did I show? Just some flowers around the house. The irises are all gone now. There are just some that are, actually no, they're all brown now. They're all gone. They don't last very long, but I have them all around the house. When we first moved here, which was 17 years ago, almost 18 years ago, there was one bush in the front corner of the house, and after it, I had no idea what it was at the time, and then when it bloomed, I'm like, oh. So, and it was just so big that I separated it. I divided it, and I ended up planting it. It's like all around the house. There's some on the front. There's some way in the backyard. So, I love it. It was kind of like the way Debbie says she gets stuff from other people. That one iris is like getting it for myself. It went everywhere. And then I have some, my neighbor next door, we exchanged. I gave her some irises, as well as I think a hosta, and she gave me a couple other like shade plants that she has that's on the side of the house. Anyway, those are my plants, and my roses. I'm looking at them right now, or that one rose bush that just does me proud. It's just awesome. Just blooms and blooms. Anyway, I've been going on for, wow, 10 minutes of nothing. Ooh. Okay. I do have yarny stuff, and the elephant in the room, and I showed at the beginning. I'm smiling because I am, like, what's the word? I'm proud of myself, but I am, that's not quite the word. I am just surprised that I actually did it. And I kind of have Miss Canadian Crocheter to thank for spurring me on, because she's been working on it, and I'm like, okay, she just started knitting and she's made like 2 sweaters already. Come on, like, you know, get with it. And since my Crojo just, like, you know, kind of deserted me for a while, and with everything going on, I was having the hardest time sleeping at night. Insomnia is and was and still is very real. And I needed something to occupy my hands, and I have this shawl that I started, I don't know how many years ago, that's sitting by my bedside, and it's getting no love, but then I'm like, you know, try a sweater. The worst you can do is like rip it out, right? So I did, and I found one that was, and ends are still there. They haven't been woven in. For some reason I don't want to weave in the ends. But I found one. I know I told her, and she mentioned it recently, that my recommendation is use the yarn you are most comfortable with. I can't stress that enough. If there's a yarn that you use that, you know, just works for you, that it feels right in your hand, and you want to try something that you are not sure about, use the yarn that speaks to you, that you're comfortable with, that you know the feel of. And for me, that's number 6, super bulky. Lion Brand Thick and Quick, to be more specific, is my jam, my go-to yarn. But anything super bulky, I will use. Even tripling up worsted weight, which is not a favorite of mine. But anyway, so much for this being a short video. I don't think it's going to be. But yeah, this is the 3-strand. Oh man, I totally don't remember the pattern. Basically, it's 3 strands of yarn held together. The pattern I will put down below. It's a pretty simple pattern, you know. I know how to do ribbing, I know how to do increases. The only thing one of the things that's always put me off or held me back doing a sweater is the underarm. The same thing with socks, doing the heel, and I want to do fingerless gloves, which I may try now, but the thumb, for some reason, I don't know what it is. It's not like I've even tried it, but it's just, I've just been blocked. But this is not the best. It's not horrible, but it's not the best. But because of this lace work here, or filet, or whatever it's called in knitting, but because of that, any holes under here are like almost forgiven because it just kind of blends into each other. So this is one area I have to work with or work on. I've saved a few videos. Once upon a time I thought, you know, why are there so many videos, or I shouldn't do this video because, you know, everyone else has done it. But what I'm finding is, even though there are tons of videos on the same things out there, not all of them speak to you. They're doing the same things, but for some reason, just the way somebody does something speaks to you. It clicks. So that's what I find. I watch a ton of videos, and none of them, I don't get that aha moment when I watch them. But there are a couple that I've saved for picking up the sleeves for the underarm that I've watched a few times. They're very similar, but each of them, they do something a little different. So I have to work on that. But overall, I'm pleased. More than proud, I'm pleased with how this turned out. I am going to have to take it off because it's, right now, it's not very skin adjacent. The best feeling. So but yeah, it's just a plain stockinette. If you can knit, you can do that. You can learn to do this. It's not difficult at all. It's just a matter of keeping track. So speaking of, when I first did it, I was on a roll. I was going. I got to the point where I was supposed to like get ready to separate for the sleeves, and I'm looking, I'm like, oh, shh. I said a different word. And I realized like here wasn't looking the way it should have, and I realized that I read the pattern wrong. It was supposed to be an increase and then a plain row, increase and plain row, and I just kept doing increases, so it just looked weird. So I had to rip back, and I ripped back all the way to the ribbing. I didn't put in lifeline, which I should have, and I didn't do it because I totally didn't think to do it. It wasn't that I didn't think I needed it, I totally forgot. So that was rip back number 1. Rip back number 2, I had to rip back the entire thing, or I decided the entire thing, because when I got to separate again for the sleeves, I was counting and I was off, and I couldn't figure out where I was off on the stitches. And So I tried to put in, did I? No. After I ripped back the first time, I put in Lifeline. Then I put in another one. But when I was off and I tried figuring it out, I forget what I did, but I couldn't figure it out, and I messed up trying to pick everything back up after I ripped back. And it was just so lopsided, I just ripped the whole thing out. And I started over fresh, just clean slate. And here we are. I have my very first sweater. I decided I didn't want long sleeves. I like a 3/4 length sleeve. I don't like short sleeves because I've always been a big girl, and I've got stretch marks, and my skin stretches very easily, so I've got the proof of that. Even when I wasn't as big, I still got stretch marks, so that's just, I don't like showing them. So I was going with short sleeves, but if you notice that, I read the sleeve decrease wrong as well. I'm definitely not a person who can read a pattern all the way through before I start. My brain just like mushes together when I try. I need to at least work part way and then maybe read on a little. But anyway, I read it wrong, and I was supposed to work plain, do a few decreases, work plain, do a decrease, work plain, do a decrease. And what I did was work plain, and I did, you were supposed to repeat the work plain and decrease for a number of times. What I did was work plain, and then I did just the decreases that number of time. Again, no plain row in between. So it kind of, you can't see it here, but yeah, there you go. It kind of plain and then shoop, right into the decreases. So it was a learning experience, let's just say. And now I know what to look for, and maybe I might try it in a smaller yarn, as in maybe bulky. I don't know. I just think that it will take me forever. So this took me over 3 weeks, having to, you know, tear back and everything a couple of times. So yeah, and mind you, I was only working on it at night when I can't sleep. So I'm going to pause and go take this off and put on my regular t-shirt, and I will be right back. Much better. I'm in my comfort zone. Just a t-shirt. All right. So the other thing, I'm going to go into acquisitions real quick, and excuse me a moment. My first acquisition is Claudia of Crochet Luna. When she was on Christy Glass Knits. If you guys don't know, she was interviewed on Christy Glass Knits, and she had gifted Christy a handmade yarn holder, and she said she would have a few she would put in her shop. So of course, you know, I was on the lookout. So there it is. I think this skein is a little too tightly wound, a little too big for it, but look at that little hole. But it is, where is it? It says it's handmade in El Salvador. Of course, there were different color paints here, but of course I searched, and yep, there was a yellow, so I got that. I know Pam, hey Pam, of Pam's Crochet and Knit Corner, she got the pink one, of course, because she doesn't wear as much, but she likes pink things. So yeah, I've got mine. So that was acquisition number 1. Acquisition number 2, I don't know what oh, there it is, as more of a gift rather than acquisition. I got some cards. I got a card from Miss Carrie Penny. Thank you very much. This is a craft I admire that I know I will never say never, but I will never get into. It takes too many little pieces, and I just don't, you know, patience in me, no. But isn't that cute? So thank you, Carrie. And then I got a card from the newest grandma, Marsha of Marsha, made by Marsha Mom, And you know when Marcia sends you a card, you have to open it carefully because I've spotted a few around the floor. The one thing that when you do see it on the floor, it puts a smile on your face because you remember where it came from. So she sent me a card. Wouldn't that look great on yarn? Look at that. It's got everybody represented here with the colors. The purple lovers, the green lovers, blue. Oh, I'm right here. Awesome. Oh, and they're falling. And in there was some tea. Now, I have this one in stash, but licorice spice. I'm curious. Because I don't like licorice, but I think someone said it doesn't really, the tea doesn't really taste like that. So I'll be curious. All right. I'll be picking up those little hearts. Okay. What else? What else? My only whip, I actually have no active whips right now, but I do want to put on an amigurumi on the hook. I'm itching, actually itching for that. But Setta's Cow, I don't even have yarn picked out yet for that. I was not in that frame of mind, so yeah, I still have to pick that up. So that's the whip, and I forgot one other acquisition, and I need to show it in concert. So our dear Miss Zelda NRJ3 saw this bag. Oops, hang on. I had stuff in it. Hang on. Saw this bag, that watercolor print, which I so love. When I showed it, oops, and it just went. So she saw this bag, and what she had done, excuse me, look at that. She had yarn dyed to match. Isn't that awesome? Ugh. I was quite surprised when I opened my mailbox. Speaking of, I know Carrie sent me the card a while back, but I hadn't been to my mailbox since all this started, and you know, with the Rona and everything. So anything that I would have purchased that would have gone to my mailbox, I had rerouted to my home address. So there was no reason for me to go to my box. So Z had asked me if my mailbox was open, and I was wondering why. So I finally went. So anyone who, not anyone, but Carrie and Marcia, I hadn't gone to my mailbox, so that's why. And there was one other person who sent me a card who didn't want it to be mentioned, but you know who you are, so again, thank you so very much. I do appreciate it. But yeah, so, and look, it even matches the inside. Look at that. It's funny that something like this, string and color, can just brighten your day. It does. So, I need to, number one, it's DK. It looks a little thinner than DK to me, but it's DK. I think it's just because it's wound up, it's a little stretched, but oh, it's just so pretty. It's all the colors. All the colors. Don't you just love that? So yeah, it's sitting in its namesake, so to speak, until it speaks to me. All right. What have I finished? On the yarn topic, you guys had seen the videos that I had put out dyeing yarn. So I had done a couple more. I think I had shown the first ones that I had done. So I'd done a couple more, and I don't think I had shown these, but oh, now they're coming all undone. But I did that. I'm trying for a yellow color, a golden yellow, a warm golden yellow. And for some reason, orange always comes out. So this is not what I was going for, but that's what came out, and it's very summery, I think. Even fall-like, I think, too. You know, there's a time when the leaves get bright yellow. So there's that. There's a little bit of green in there, but not much. And then I did this one, which I actually love. These were done with food coloring. I think the yellow was, yeah, those are food coloring. And this was done with neon, I think, yes, neon food coloring. And let's see if I can take that one out. So you would have seen those in all the photos of the bags. I used them to at least get perspective on the bag size. So yeah, I love it. I wanted all the colors, and I wanted to use up all the neon colors that I had because they've been there a while. But yeah, I love it. No clue what I'm doing with it, but right now it's good photo prop. And then, like I said, I wanted a yellow color, that golden color, because I have a skein, and maybe sometime it's way in the back up there, under a lot of stuff. I have a skein, a hank of Malabrigo. I think it's Rios. I don't remember, but it's just the most gorgeous color called, I think, Sunshine. And I wanted to try to create at least that yellow golden base. So I kind of thought I had something, not it, but close enough. But when I added the other colors to it, it just got very muddled, very dissipated. So the base was that warm golden yellow that I loved. But then I have two of those because I had two of them in the thing at the same time. And these are all on Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Bulky. So I had that warm color. And I was trying to speckle, but I didn't have powder. It's just liquid. So I was trying to do droplets on it. And I added green. But it just, what's the word? It kind of blended into each other. It didn't speckle. And then I had black Wilton food dye that I added, and when I mixed it up, it had like a blue-green undertone to it, definitely blue. And then when I put it on when I dropped it on the yarn, it definitely did. Blues definitely and greens definitely showed up. So basically there was no black. It's like all the colors that were used to mix, it broke basically. It broke into all the colors, and it's more of a, I don't know, what's the word? It just all blended. It didn't stay in its lane basically. It's just, it still has that base. Oh look, I didn't even notice right there. Oh, I like that. Ooh, it's blowing out. Right there. It's got some darker specks to it. That's what I started off with the darker colors, and then the rest of it just overtook it. And then I added pink on it. But when you do yellow and pink, what do you get? Orange. And like I said, for some reason orange just seemed to come out in everything I'm doing. So it just, that yellow and that pink on the yellow just turned orange, which is not what I wanted at all. So this is very, it's kind of like a gold tone camo to me. Not what I wanted at all. Then again, mentally maybe I was trying. Now, speaking of, so this is like a neon green color, and that's what this one started as. I did the base of the green, which was lovely, and if you can see here, it was more that chartreusey green color it started with. And then I added the pink, which I think I would need powders to get a good speckle on this, because the liquid just, it spread. That's the word. It spread and then just blended into each other. So you can see pinks, but it almost, it's, you know, it's mixing into like orange, corally colors, all colors I didn't want, and it just muted the whole thing down. And that is because of the black I think I added that really muted everything, which I'm quite upset at. But I don't know. that was attempt number 3 at dyeing. This was number 2. Number 1 I had shown before. I have maybe about 8 more skeins, because I bought this maybe like 2 years ago when Knit Picks was having a really good sale, and I bought like 20 skeins for, I think it ended up being like $60 something when they were having the sale. So it's been in my garage for a while, and I've used some on and off, but I have the last, I think, 8 skeins left that I can play around with, because I think Gary had shown natural dyes that he got. I don't remember if they were powder though. I have to go back. I saved the link. I don't want to do acid dyes because I don't want to get into the masks and all that, and my kitchen space is not set up for that, and I don't want to mix and do anything in the house, so we shall see. So that's just me playing. Let me put that back on real quick. So that's yarn dyeing. And yeah, so much for a short video. The other things I've been making, masks. I don't have any here because I've shipped them off. I shipped them off to my brother and my father, my parents' house, and my brother. I think I made like 6, and I just shipped out today 3 more to my sisters. Now, there's a different style. I was making the Olsen mask and the pleated ones before, and then the one I make now that I like, and I thought I had a sample here. Okay, so the ones that I make now that I prefer is, it's called the 3D face mask, and basically when you fold it, it looks like that, and it's got a piece here and a piece here that covers your mouth and kind of goes under your chin here, and I find that one most comfortable. I've made a couple more for Father Minion in black, so when he goes to work. This one is just mine. I was using like leftover, so yeah. I don't have any nose guard on here to bend. I don't wear my glasses that often, so I don't have to worry about fogging so much, but I think this one gives you a lot more room between the mask and your mouth. Yeah, I prefer this style, so that's the one I'm making, and it's so much easier to make too. And this one I made where you fold it over and sew the casing. The newer one that the person I followed had an update, and you don't have to do the casing, so I like it. And the other thing that I didn't have elastic, I had this elastic, it's twice as wide as this, and I cut it down the middle, but one side frayed, and I ended up burning one side to keep it from fraying, and it's a little rough. So I have pantyhose that I don't wear. So I just, it's kind of like when you cut t-shirt yarn and you pull it, and then it turns into that like rolled up cord. So the same thing. So this was one when I cut, I think, a 1/2 inch, and when you pull it, it's really thin, so if you want that. And then now I cut it between 1 inch and 1.5 inches, so you get a little thicker one. And with this, I cut it in half, and I attach it on one side on the other, so you get a loop. So you can get, for this, this is basically one mask, 1/2 on each side. So yeah, and that's what I'm doing. And then I cut where did I cut that side from? This was, what is this? This was a t-shirt that I cut strips from, and again, if you pull on it, you get the cord opposed to here. I feel like I've been talking forever. Okay, so those are the masks. I made, before I talk about the bags that were in the shop, I just made a couple of bags for my niece for her birthday. I went and bought, she and her sister, they're like 2 days apart. They're like 2 days, and they're 9 years apart, but their birth dates are 2 days apart. they both like purple, and I bought, one was a unicorn fabric and one was a Disney theme because they went there last year. And I made her a couple bags, so I'll put in a picture of that. And I sent that to her for her birthday. And I was able to use those snap things for the first time. So, yeah, so that was cool. And I bought a whole case because that's my problem. When I get into something, I get a little too gung-ho and I buy all the things for that project or for that craft, which is not a good thing. You know how that is, right? Okay, so that was for her. Let's see, and then my cousin also, she crochets, she knits, but she prefers crochet. I understand. She actually started Tunisian crocheting too, and that's like the big thing now. She's actually doing entrelac as like her entree into Tunisian, which is awesome. But she doesn't have a proper project bag, and I'm like, every self-respecting yarnie needs at least, no, I'm kidding, I was kidding of course, but I was kidding with her. I'm like, every self-respecting yarnie needs at least one proper project bag. So she says she likes green, and I didn't have one particular green, so I went through my stash and I pulled out the greens. And Mimi of Patchwork Tea, you'll probably recognize the fabric. It's something I had in stash. I have no idea where I bought it from. It's been there a while. So I made her that. I mixed a bunch of greens and I made her a bag. So I'll put that on the screen. And what else? So, oh, and I showed that, yeah, my thread holder. I think I showed in that last quick video that I did because, you know, now that I'm sewing a little bit, my threads just seem to multiply on their own. The other thing, that hooded scarf, I finished the last of the frogging, so that's what that was left of the hood. So I've got 4 balls of partial wool that I don't know what to do with. Okay, so bags again. Thank you all who have purchased. There's 1 bag right now still left in the store. I'm blown away. I just mailed off 1 this morning, so that leaves 1 in the store. I am working on a few others. I had some fabric cut up, and going through my stash, it turns out I had little bits of fabric cut out before for like smaller bags that I never got to. Oh my god, stashing is dangerous. So I will be working on that. Yeah, I've got stuff cut out that I just need to find time to sew. And I think that's it, finally, yarn-wise. So, as far as the winner of the Oopsie bag, that is, and I'm gonna, instead of flipping through, I'm gonna put it right on the screen along. So do you know who this is? Have you seen? So it's funny, I think now this will be the 3rd time. I think YouTube loves you, Beth. This is the 3rd time she's won something from me. Definitely the 2nd, but I think this is the 3rd time that she's won something from me. So it was random. So if anyone has a problem with it, I'm not even sorry. It's just, it is what it is. But congratulations, Beth. Yeah, I still need you to email me just so I know that you saw this, because like I said, everything I do, I'm doing it for people who watch the videos. So, you know, if you're participating, you're entering because you watch the video. So I need to know that you watched the video, that you see you won, and send me an email so I know that you saw that. And I'm pretty sure I have your address, but just to be safe, send it to me again, and I will get that out to you. So thank you all who participated, and yeah, keep on keeping on. right, it's a bright sunny day. The sun's back out, so looks like we're not getting rain anytime soon. And I don't know what I'm gonna do. My flower is blooming. I just watered it. I forgot to water it for like a day and a half, so I think it appreciated the water I put in this morning. So on that note, I'm going to leave you guys. I will talk to you guys, I don't know when, probably hopefully in a week, but it might be 2 weeks. So work has finally calmed down a bit, so we shall see. Have a good weekend, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.